Hi, I'm Tori, and I just made a skirt because the fabric reminded me of the illustrations in a book. So this fabric was for sale at the store where I work, and every day when I walked past it, I just kept thinking about how much it reminded me of this book I read when I was a little child. I would always say I wanted to read the Lupine Lady book. And the fabric doesn't even match the illustrations that closely, but something about the fabric just made me fall in love with it. So I had to buy it and make a flowy, twirly skirt. I didn't actually use a pattern, I just made my own, which worked out pretty well, except for a few minor difficulties. And I ended up with a gorgeous, twirly, flowy skirt. So I dug through the garage and found Miss Rumphius by Barbara Cooney. It turns out this is not actually called the Lupine Lady book, I just thought it was when I was 5, and the illustrations do actually look very similar to the flowers on this skirt. They are kind of a different color palette. In this book, the flowers are all blue or purple or pink, and these ones are all kind of teal and there's blues and bits of greens and yellows in there. But I still think that the overall aesthetic of the skirt goes so well with the illustration style of this book. So I just reread this book and I was kind of amazed how little my personality has changed since I was 5 years old, because I love this book. It was one of my favorites, and reading through it now, I've done a lot to try to live my life the way that the main character in this book has. So the main character of this book, Miss Rumphius, loves books and spends lots of time in a library. She travels all over the place and sees some really amazing things. She comes home and settles down in a house with her cat, and she's perfectly happy to just stay in a little cottage by herself. There's never any mention of getting married or having children. There's never any indication that her life is less complete because she doesn't have those things. She just enjoys her traveling and her cats and looking for beauty in the world, and I just still relate to this character so much. I was also really impressed looking at this book as an adult how well it shows the passage of time through the clothing. When Miss Rumphius is a little girl, it's clearly the late Victorian era. Then when it shows her as a young adult working in a library, it's getting more into the Edwardian period. As she gets older and starts to travel, it shows her on the beach in an outfit that looks very much like the 1920s. And then she's in a hotter climate in a dress that I think looks very much like a simple kind of a 30s frock. And by the time she comes back to her village, she's older and she's definitely not as into the trends anymore. And she's running around in like fun capes and different clothing, I think whatever she wants to wear. But you can see the kids around her and stuff are in jeans and t-shirts, so I'm guessing it's getting into the 50s or maybe even the early 60s. And I just thought it was so cool how well the author was able to show the passage of time but still give this story this beautiful kind of timeless quality. And I was amazed how much I still love this book. I'm so glad that I saw this fabric and went and dug out one of my childhood favorites, and now I have a beautiful light floaty skirt that goes very well with one of the books I loved as a child.